This Daf Yomi Yerushalmi Shevi'is in the article Ozuhara edition. We are right at the beginning of the Gemara on Daf Chav Vav Amud Aleph, right after the Mishnah, 4 lines down. In the Vilna edition, we are on Daf Tessim and Beis, right after the Mishnah, which is in the new Perek, 1, 2, 3, 6 lines down, and we are talking about gathering wood. Initially, they said you can gather wood, and then they from their own field, from another field, the same way, and then obviously they had to start kalkonas because people started being oiver averes. So we show you it's the header in the art scroll. Rabbi Yoina said, "Hachin tzarcha misnei." This is where we have to read the Mishnah. Barishoina, hayu omrim makid adam eitziv asavi talk shelo es hagasagas. Not that originally they could take any wood they wanted from their field. No, it was only the thicker stuff. But there, k'der shumlak mishel chavero from his own field. Kagasagas k'der shumlak mitoch chavero. Like he can take from his friend's field, ben dakim megasim. It says ben dakim megasim in the Gemara. It says ben in our Kapnok. It says ben dakim ben gasim. It means the same thing. In other words, friend's field can take us anything. The small twigs, big wood doesn't matter because it's not the opposite of sadeu. It's for your friend's field. But your own field, you're allowed to take gasim, big piece of wood, which are clearly for use and not for the purpose of fixing your field. However, people started being suspect to gather even a small piece of wood. They say, no, we were gathering big pieces of wood. So they decide, okay, everybody can collect from other people's fields, not from their own, because they're not doing it to be miyap in their own field. Next, we was malaktim b'toiva, but then people became chashuv that they were actually doing this and being machzik toiva to each other. So in other words, that there was like a krunia. In other words, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And therefore, in essence, they were indirectly being miyap in their own fields by being miyap in the other fellows' fields. We didn't do it with being makir. We just did it on our own volition. So they decided you can bring from something which is close, only from fields that are close to the city, and fields which I guess the wood is very prevalent, because then it was looks quite much more like you're doing it for the wood than for fixing your field. Amar Rabbi Zera said, "Rishoina miskayemes." The two takonas, first takonas were accepted, but the last takona that remained a chumrah. The people would not accept it. Chazon says it was not. I don't know if the Chazon say this, but it was not Pashtam Chol Yisrael, and they weren't makabel it. So they were makabel that initial takana to only collect coarse wood, and the other takana that should be shalom b'toiva. But the third takana, even though Chachamim did it because they're chayshish for Ovi they weren't makabel that takana. It was not nispashal b'rov Yisrael, and therefore it became extinct, or never came into true effect, I should say. There's a famous truth from Moshe Feinstein about clapping and dancing on Shabbos, where he says that even after something came into effect, if then most of Am Yisrael no longer accepted it, it can revert to being a null and void. But the pashtus here is that they never accepted to begin with. Okay, it says Mar Haisa Behemto Sham Behemto Mochichas Olav. If your animals in the field, then it's clear that you're collecting. We're talking here the asavim. The second bar mission is clearly collecting for the animal, and that's okay. Haisa Kirasa Sham. Obviously, you have a stove there or an oven. So then The stove indicates that you're doing it for the purpose of the oven, and that's okay. Laka bagasim. Okay, now you collected what went through the field and collected all the coarse wood. Can you go back and collect from the coarse wood in the thin wood? In other words, now you took all the coarse wood. Now you have thinner wood, but there's coarse in the thick. There's coarse in the thin. It's all relative. So now maybe you can go back, make another sivuv, make another cycle, and take the coarse now. What's coarse now? Says okay. If you're going to say Avum Laki, it's Koslei B'Shvis. And I'm gathering of his whole field in Shemitah. No, that's too subject to ruses. Malaki Gasi. His field is full of thick wood, and he wants to take he wants part of them. He doesn't want to take all of them. Tartin Metanyan. So it's interesting language. We don't really find this. He says there are two Tanoim. Or two Mishnayos who argue about this. According to one, it's Mutter. According to the other one, it's Chadamar Shari, Chadamar Osin. It's also Hamasaka. So they notice Yerushalmi Shevi'is. It says if you take your field, you can take the upper stones. I mean, you're taking fields, stones from your field. Take the upper stones and leave the lower ones which touch the ground. So that means you're allowed to take part and leave part. I didn't explain the premise here well. Let me go back a second. I say and you want to say I want to take part of them, right? That's not real. That's what I said. That's not really the question. The question is that I had that written down inside my Gemara, and that's wrong. Simply wrong. What the question is: do we require you to only take part of them and not all of them? Because yes, okay, you only had gasin, so yeah, maybe you could say you take all of them because they're all gasin. But maybe say if you take all of them, by definition, you're clearing your field. So we shouldn't allow that. And that's the machlokes. And then one brayso says, one Mishnah. Hamsaka sadei another says many parts. It says clearly you can't take all of them at once. You have to leave some. The ones touching the ground. Hadamra shari. So that says it's mutter. Now that sounds like that one sounds like my first interpretation, right? But no. The Gra and Reb Chaim, not Kavanaki. We're going to change it to Asur, right? It's Asur. Because that's like my second interpretation. It's also to do it because it's if you take all of them, looks like you're masaking so you have to leave. Then there's another which says Ezu Ameido Echos Oshnayim. So it says that there's later on Halacha Daled. It says somebody who's cutting his olive trees. Kishame say you have to leave some of the trunk in the ground, and Basil says you can uproot to remove all of it altogether, the entire trunk. What's made, the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, one or two. So Hadamara, this tells us, and again according to the change of Girsa of the Gra and Reb Chaim, Hadamara Shari. This says you're allowed to do it because Basil says you have to go all the way down to the ground. Right? Beishamai says you have to leave something. Basil says all the way down to the ground. So according to Basil, it's mutter to remove everything. Here too, it's mutter to remove all the gossip. Okay, then again, that's going to the second interpretation I gave. We'll stick with that. Says Abba Moikain, is that true also Milcham, right? Ashka Tanatani, we went around the Bryce who said, it says Ashka Tanoi here in the Kabbalaki, so it's not the only Girsa, Ashka Tana, right? Ashka Tanatani said, Malakit on them 18 Tov Shalo, Es Agas, there is Shumlaki Bitov Shachaber, Ben Dakimin. Gasin, yes, you can do all that, but B'Shvi'is have a little bit more, but not by Cholamoid. Cholamoid is Tzurchi Yisera, or this you can wait till afterwards, so therefore we didn't allow it. Hapavonim, okay? What does this also apply by stones? Which seems to indicate that the Mishnah, our Mishnah did not have the Girsa Avonim, right? Because our Mishnah, in the Gemara it says, "Like it on them 18 Avonim Asavim," and the Kavanaki takes the word of Avonim, and let's say some of the other, comes from one of the other. Somebody else is there too, but it seems quite clear that Avonim was not in the Mishnah. Otherwise, it wouldn't ask the question. So Avonim also Avonim the same halacha. The heart, and this is the heart knows if it's no. I'm forgetting what lakel means. Person knows if he's at mind to use what he's gathering. That's lakel. I think lakel is like an echo base abad, using like a wood for an olive press, or like how close he's doing it for distortion, for crookedness. Rabbi Yasser's pasuk in is it a pasuk? It's not a pasuk. No, it's a memra. Okay, just a pitkam. Rabbi Yasser Menachem, Rabbi Aved Kishitase. Rabbi did interesting interpretation here that he did what he normally did, which is he used to check whether they're Rabbi or not. And the Kabbalaki explains he was the Nasi. He was in charge. That was his job. Moshe also said that. Yes, Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva. Oh, that's not going to work. That's the girsa of. That is the girsa of the Kavanaki, Rebbe. I assume it's from the Rosh Cirilio. Yeah, the Rosh Cirilio's girsa is Rebbe. The Gemara in front of us says the girsa of Rabbi Akiva. According to that girsa, Rabbi Akiva, so the Bnei Moshe says, "Hai kshas is so pretty. Elu to come Rabbi Akiva. Der she'em mekaklim shesuran kach em mesaknim. She'em yoder she'omer letaken iskav em sheshekilkulu. Kashi lezeh she'oso zomer kama v'shvis omer le v'leis us zeh b'shvis." In other words, Rabbi Akiva had said previously that you're not allowed to mekakush, just like you can't be mekakush, you can't be masaken. You can't say you had a mind to be masaken. Who knows? Maybe you actually didn't. Okay, so either it's Rebbe and it's doing what he's supposed to do, or it's Rabbi Akiva who said, "Yeah, we're not sure what's going on. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?" This used to be a catchphrase for a radio show, The Shadow, which my father used to listen to when he was a young lad. So Chama Zamer, he saw somebody pruning karma, his vineyard during Shmis. Amalei Vleis Aser, is it Aser? Amalei Aklin boy, I need him for my ek, for my base abad, for my alpes. Amalei Alev Yodem Akel Kalklokos. That's where the Pitkam comes from. The heart knows if it's for the echo base abad or for Kalklokos, or you're doing it as a deviant way. In other words, you're actually doing it in order to truly prune your vineyard, and therefore it is usher. So going to Rebbe, he was telling him, I was Nasi and telling you I'm not allowed to do this, according to the Gersa of the Rebbe Shirash and the Kavanaki. According to the Gersa and the Gemara, Rebbe Akiva saying, you know what, I know that some people say they're doing it for the right reasons, but they're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you're one of them, perhaps. Okay, so let's say kapsat. He's talking about Shvis. If you have a field, this is Mishnah. You have a field from which the thorns have been taken out. You can plant them with soy shmita. In type in the daira, however, if you improved it by plowing it, or you put fertilizer in it, in a way which is inappropriate, Lotus on Motzei Shvi'is, we find you when you can plant a Motzei Shvi'is. We're much more machmir than you. So that Shenitaiva, if you have a field which is an orchard, not a grain field orchard, Shenitaiva, Beishamar Enochim B'Yosef B'Shvi'is, you can't eat its fruit during Shemitah because your plowing enhanced it. And not only that, not only is the owner not allowed to eat it, the aniyim are not allowed to eat it either. And nobody eats pear. So we still mean ochlim, but still says you can eat it. And the reason is because the field is not yours. It's Shemitah. You can't ask for something which is not yours. The Shammai says you can't eat pear or Shemitah if you are going to owe a debt of gratitude, even and non-monetary debt to the original owner, because that's like paying him, like buying pear Shevi'is. So it says you're allowed to be grateful for him, not to be machzik to him. It's not a problem. He says it was the opposite. This is one of the cases where Beis Shammai is machmer, Mekel, Beis Hillel is Mekel. Beis Shammai was Mekel and Beis Hillel is machmer. So actually we have to reverse the shittas here. Okay, that brings us to the end of the Mishnah, and it brings us to Chav Zayin Amud Aleph in the middle. So we'll stop here for the day.